Hey guys, today I'm doing Uzbek plov with Basmati rice. I consider Basmati rice Indian, and every time I'm doing something with this rice, I think of a good friend of mine, and actually it happens to be her birthday today, so Mina darling, this video is for you. Let's quickly run through the ingredients. Plov is quite straightforward dish. Half a kilo of rice, half a kilo of carrots, half kilo of meat. I have it in large big chunks because that way I'm going to keep it juicy. I have one large onion, handful of soaked chickpeas. These are fresh chickpeas and not the canned ones. Handful of sun-dried raisins, a pinch of saffron. Now, saffron is optional because it's mostly used for color. It can also be substituted with turmeric, but take caution because turmeric is quite strong in flavor. A tablespoon of cumin, can use cumin seeds or cumin powder, both work great. I do not recommend to skip this part. 1 tablespoon of salt, but we will later taste the plov to see if the salt is enough. First off, cut the carrots into a kind of thin rectangulars. I'll try to show you in a second what it looks like. Here we go. Next, cut the onions into semi-rings. They don't have to be super thin. Once we're done with the onion, we are ready to go and start cooking. Add a cup of vegetable oil into a pot. Now, I have tried plov with olive oil too, but the vegetable oil works better. Now, bring it to a high heat. Before we start cooking, the oil must be super hot. When we were younger, I remember asking my brother, how do I know if the oil is hot enough? To which he said, just put your finger in. But I think I found a better and safer alternative. Do you agree with me? First to go is the meat. Take caution with your hands because the oil spreads. To prevent the stove from the mess, we quickly cover the meat with the lid. We cook the meat on both sides, and you can see here a nice crust on the meat, and it's kind of this way we are sealing the juice of the meat inside. Second to go in is the onions. How do we know we can go ahead with the onion? It's when the juice which meat had extracted is gone and that the meat is kind of frying in an oil and not boiling with the oil and the juice of the meat. You know what I mean? Now the onions will take some time because they have to be completely caramelized. It will take a good half an hour depending on the meat. Some meats happen to be extra juicy. You know what I mean? Once the onions have completely caramelized, add in the carrots and cook till they soften. This will take about 5 minutes. My carrots have been cooking for 5 minutes, and you can even see that they have even reduced in volume. Now we can go ahead and add our spices. Salt, cumin powder, raisins, chickpeas and saffron. Then go ahead and add hot water until it covers all the ingredients. Now all the water we are using for plov is going to be boiling hot because plov doesn't like to be shocked. After having added the water, lower the heat and let it simmer for about an hour. Chickpeas take some time to cook. Now the base of the plov has been cooking for a little over an hour now, and we can go ahead and add the rice. I have thoroughly rinsed it with the cold water. Now this process is quite a delicate moment. The rice remains on top of the base all the time. After we've evenly spread the rice over the base, we add water. Again, boiling hot water. The water must be 1 joint of your pinky above the rice. Rice tends to kind of stick together, so go ahead and mix it slightly, kind of give it an air. But as mentioned earlier, mix the rice alone and not with the rest of the ingredients. Next off, increase the heat to the maximum and boil the rice until the water has completely evaporated. And now is the moment to try our plov for salt. If undersalted, you can add some salt here. Mine seems to be okay, so I'm not going to be adding any more salt. So the water here appears to be gone, and we can now go ahead and assemble the rice. One way of checking if there's any remaining water or moist in the plov is putting in a reverse side of the spoon. If the spoon comes out dry, then we can go ahead and assemble the rice. But I can see here that I have to give it a few more moments. Now the water and moist seems to be good. I'm ready to assemble my rice. I gently bring it to the center, just very slightly, just very gently. And then I cover it with a pottery plate. And then cover the whole thing tightly with a lid. I coat the lid with the kitchen towel. This prevents the steam from forming into a water on the lid and drop back onto the rice, making it sticky. Now, the rice of a good plov is always non-sticky, and as a matter of fact, this is how we judge the plov. Cover it tightly, lower the heat, and let it steam cook for 20-30 minutes. Moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Ta-da! And just look at this gorgeous basmati. I've tried many rice for plov in Europe outside the Uzbek rice, and I stopped at basmati because it never lets me down. This rice turns out fluffy every time. Did you also notice me got excited at this moment? Oh well, it's absolutely rewarding to see the meal turned out looking good, tasting good, people trying it, enjoying it, see people watching on YouTube liking it and subscribing to my channel. Oh, I think I got carried away a bit here. Now it is Uzbek tradition that the plov is served in a big plate. We call it legyan. It's usually placed in the center of the table and people at the table reach for it. Back in the days, they used to eat plov with their hands. But nowadays, plov is mostly served in small plates or even cups. But regardless of how it's served, it's absolutely delicious. In Uzbekistan, every region have their own plov. In Samarkand, for example, we don't mix the rice with the base, i.e. with the carrot and the rest, but I find the mixed one tastier. The ingredients might differ in regions, but the rule of thumb for every plov is that the meat is always on top of the dish. Plov is usually served with apricots salad. It's a thinly sliced cucumber and tomato seasoned with herbs. Ladies and gentlemen, our plov is ready to hit the table. So that was the plov from me, guys. I hope you liked the video and the recipe as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Just click on my photo at the end of the video and I see you in my next videos. Until then, stay safe and paka paka.